Yeah, yeah. This is Lady Mogul Talk, talking about black excellence. Ladies building legacies, fostering communities. There'll be topics to grow with dynamic sheroes. Time to secure the bag, elevate your goals, yeah. If you gotta grind, go ahead and take some time. Free your mind, leave your worries behind. Expand your possibilities while learning new strategies. Every time with Avery, knowledge will be guaranteed on Lady Mogul Talk.
Welcome back to another segment of Lady Mogul Talk. Today we have the wonderful Annette Campbell, who empowers entrepreneurs to make millions through tax strategy and profit planning. She is the CEO of the Tax Experience and is passionate about helping powerhouse CEOs, coaches, and consultants build profitable and sustainable businesses. In 2018, she lost everything, and what she thought was a financial loss. Those years turned out to be the foundation of her legacy as a successful tax firm business owner. In her first 90 days of launching her business, she made her first six figures. That is impressive. Her services include tax prep, tax strategy, mentorship, wealth management, and virtual CFO services. Now she is in her third year of being in business full time and has expanded her office and staff and is now earning $500,000 in revenue. Wow, that deserves a hand clap in it. So we could just end the show with that. How are you? Thank you for joining the show.
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for having me as a guest. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
so excited to have you. And even though we've been following each other for I don't know how long, it was
Yes.
so ironic to see you in the room at Lily Mae's conference. And so hearing your story, I was like, I had no clue. And it is really inspiring. So I want to start there. Of course, in the bio, I said, read that you lost everything in 2018. So tell us about those obstacles. And I also want you to share about the car breakdown because I thought that was just divine intervention.
Yes, yes. So I pretty much did everything that society tells us to do, that our parents tells us to do. I went to college, and I was able to get a good job. And I really thought that that was just going to be my life, right? Because if you're not exposed to entrepreneurship, you're not exposed to wealth, like, and your environment is telling you like that's all, and that's only what you're seeing. That's what you think is right. So I did that. I was working at a really good job, like I really loved it. But then it was a light bulb went off in my head. And I'm like, I don't went to college. Like they lied to me. They said I was supposed to have a good life. And I'm struggling. Like I have to work 2 or 3 jobs. I know a lot of you guys can understand that. And I'm just like, this is not the life. Like something has to give. And when I was like praying and asking God, like, like there has to be something else. Like I don't foresee this as my life forever. My friend, he calls me and he asks me, do I keep my options open to make more money? And I said, yes, of course. And he introduced me to a business. So that was like an MLM business. I know a lot of us have heard of MLM business. It was called Ambit Energy. And it was pretty much helping people save on their gas and electricity bills. But the significance of that experience and that first exposure to business was powerful because that was my first exposure to millionaires. That was my first exposure to wealth. That was my first exposure to like, wow, there really is another life that is possible that you can attain, that you can work hard for. And I did really well in that business. They was like, who is this girl, Annette? Like, I was so determined. I was just like really like helping people understand like, y'all gotta feel the same way I feel. Like, I don't want to struggle forever. Like, this is just hard. Um, and it was so, I think my inspiration even came from that opportunity because I seen so many of us, they just thought that working and paying bills was just the only way. And I was just like, no. So fast. So as me pretty much understanding you got to have more than one source of income, really learning about business in a different capacity, I lost everything, you guys. So I lost my car. my apartment and job. So I pretty much lost my job first. And then, obviously if I don't have a full-time job, like I can't pay for my car, and I clearly had to move out of my apartment. But you know what is so crazy that I think about it today, that God still showed me grace even in those moments, because my lease to my car, so I was leasing a car at the moment, and it was a 3-year lease, and my lease was up. So technically I didn't, I just turned my keys in because I couldn't renew, and my apartment for my lease was up that same month. So God was still showing me grace even in the whole scenario. So it's like, even though I was losing everything, it wasn't as hard. Like, it was still a hard fall, but it wasn't like eviction or repossession and things of that nature. So that moment, those moments of my life, from driving a brand new car to walking to get on the bus again, from having to live on my living on my own to having to go back home, was just a very, very hard transition. And I'm sure that anybody can think that those were the top 3 things that that you work so hard for: your car, your place to live, and your vehicle, right? Losing all those things at a hard time was one of the hardest moments of my life. But God is faithful. And I went from, so I'm gonna stop there, because that's
no.
So fast forward to there, I really I moved in with one of my close family members, my grandma, and it didn't work out that well. She actually kicked me out and had to live with my mom. And I remember it was a moment of me sleeping on the floor, like just really writing down the vision and manifesting that I'm going to have my own tax and accounting firm. So even through all the craziness, God was still perfecting my skill, my craft. So like I said, I went to school for business and accounting, and taxes just like fell in my lap. Like, I just love taxes. I never really thought I was going to do it for the public, you guys. Never. I was like, I do not want to deal with people with their taxes during tax season. People just, it's a crazy season. But my friends was like, you really should do this and that. Like, you're really good at it. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Let me go actually work at a company. So I worked at H&R Block, and I worked at TurboTax, and I actually worked in an accounting firm. But at H&R Block, I really, I was number 1 in the district. So my first year there, I was number 1 in the district. So, and my branch manager, she was like, I really want to make you a branch district manager. I'm like, whoa, like, this is my first year. Like, I don't think I'm ready for this. But they saw the potential in me that I didn't see in myself. So I did well. So you guys, when I had lost my job, I said, forget these jobs. I'm not working for nobody. But God was like, he had to bring me back to reality real quick, and was like, girl, I need you to get stable. I need you to get financially stable to the point to where when it is your time to go, that you will be ready for it, right? And you guys, this is the reason why I'm so passionate about financial literacy and just finances, because I was in a working to pay bill cycle. I didn't know how to get out of it. I was not budgeting my money, and clearly I didn't have a savings account, right? Because I probably wouldn't have took that type of fall, right? So that really inspired me and motivated me, number 1, to check myself, my own money relationship with money, right? And I had to unlearn bad habits, and I had to unlearn anything that I previously known to get a renewed mind of the next level of what I needed to actually attain for this next phase in my life. And so fast forward, I did get a job, and I was able to get an apartment again. I was able to get a job again, and I worked at Department of Education. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good, right? Like, everything's back stable. And I launched my business that year. But let me say something that's very prominent. When I started working that job, somebody came up to me and told me, they was like, Annette, you're not going to want to do your business. You're going to start making a lot of money here, and you're just going to forget it. And I said, no. I said, a job will never make me forget about my dreams ever again. And I already know what it feels like to have just one source of income, or just be in a space where you're not truly passionate about what you're doing, right? You're just doing it because you need a paycheck, versus really doing what God really has called you for your life. And I remember telling him that. I said, I'm not going to get stuck here. Maybe you did, because he said he had dreams to become a doctor, and he never did, because he felt like he was making so much money here and he was comfortable. And I said, that's not going to happen to me. So I worked there for 2 years, you guys, and I launched my business the first year. I launched virtually. And you guys, I just did what God told me to do. I got, I'm in my home office right now. So I started my business literally from this office that I'm even talking right here today. Because God told me, like, don't try to rush the process, right? Start with what you have.
Mhm.
And I was able to, I did marketing, I got my website, I had my photo shoot, and I did all those things, right? And then I launched a business just based off my social media presence and my consistency of education. I was able to get 150 clients that first year, you guys, I launched, right? So I launched virtually. I didn't have an office space. From that moment, I said, okay, I have to take this thing to the next level. Like, just imagine what can I do if I was full time, right? I would be able to service more people. I would just be able to do so much more. I would be able to help. I could just do what I really, truly want to do with my life. And then in my mind, I said, I'm quitting my job in September. September didn't come fast enough. The pandemic came. Boom, I got laid off, you guys, from the pandemic. So I felt like God was answering my prayer. It was like, okay, yep, you said September. Nope, I'm going to give you a little bit more time. You're laid off in March. And you guys, I'm not even going to lie. I was scared because I've been through a job loss already, but God had to remind me, your plan B is not going to turn into your plan A. Mm-hmm. And he said, now is your time to build. And you guys, I call it my faith walk. And that's the first thing I did. I asked God, I'm like, God, if you do not want me to go back to a job, like, I already said I didn't want to. So if this really you telling me, like, this is now your time, like, you just had to make it work for me. Like, you just had to make it work. So I found a business developer. I was really just putting a plan together. I was looking for office spaces. Like, I was so serious, you guys, and so determined. And I also did a budget. I was able to figure out what I actually needed in money to actually cover all my bills, right? Because if we say we ain't going back to a job, okay, so how would you want to pay these bills? Okay. So I was able to get enough clients to be able to pay my bills every single month. And then I'm at December, right? So you guys, I'm walking the walk. Like, I'm doing every single thing. I'm ordering office furniture. I'm literally doing every single thing to really launch out. And I got a big contract with an organization, and they told me they couldn't pay me, you guys. I was devastated. Over $10,000 they were supposed to pay me. Mind you, if you can imagine, literally, I'm just barely making it, because the money that the clients are paying me, I'm relying on these clients every single month to pay me so I can pay my bills. And that is scary when you're first an entrepreneur launching out. You're like, oh my gosh, like, is this really? But you just have to take the first step, and God is going to do the next steps for you. So, so we're in December, right? I'm 11 days away from my grand opening, you guys, from my office space. And I'm telling people, book your tax appointments. I have a grand opening. Like, I'm literally, truly walking in faith. And when that happened, you guys, I was so devastated. But I remember looking at my vision board. So you guys, I give vision board parties every single year. I have it coming up in December. I remember looking at my vision board, and it says walking into the best year of my life. And I had put 100K on that vision board. And I remember crying and praying out to God for a miracle. I said, God, like, look, I done did everything you told me to do. Like, I'm literally at the finish line, you guys. Even in this fourth quarter that we are in right now, I think about me 3 years ago. Like, I was in a season of sink or swim. I was in a season of faith. I was in a season of purpose, walking in purpose. So you guys, so I'm looking at this vision board. I'm crying and praying out for a miracle. I leave my house, my car breaks down. And I'm like, Lord, this is not the miracle. What's going on here? Because I can't take nothing else financially that happens to me right now, you guys. Like, so when the company told me they couldn't pay me, I risked all my bills, you guys. I'm a true risk taker. I risked every single thing. I was like, God, you just have to hold me down right now. I promise, like, this ain't gonna be my life, but I really believe in this dream. Like, I really believe in this vision. I really believe in what God told me to do. So I didn't pay none of my bills, because I was like, I need to put everything I can into this office, right? So when my car breaks down, I'm thinking like, oh shoot, I ain't pay my car payment. These people done turn my car off. I'm panicking, y'all. I can laugh about it today. And I called the company, and I'm like, "Did you guys turn my car off?" And it was like, "No, Miss Campbell." Like, they probably was like, "This girl's crazy. What she talking about? We done turn her car off." But you guys, if you can imagine, like, my state of mind is like, you have to stay focused on the vision, even when you get all these type of distractions. You get all these things that's trying to stop you. The enemy will try to stop you when he know you're getting so much closer to the destiny God promised for your life. So as this is happening, the guy, he pulls up. He asks me, he's like, "Hey, do you need some help?" I was like, "I don't know. My car won't turn back on." At this time, you guys, I have a newer car. It was a push to start. Like, I'm like, nothing should be wrong with my car. Like, nothing should be wrong with my car. I had gas, oil, like, nothing should be wrong with my car. So he was like, "Well, you're in a very dangerous spot." So I was in a 1-lane road, and my car just randomly stopped. And it felt like a wind, you guys. Even with my car stopping, it felt like a wind was pulling my car to stop at that exact moment. So he's like, "I need to get you into neutral because I need to push you to the side of the road." And we finally was able to get my car into neutral. He pushes me to the side of the road, and he comes back and he hands me money. And you guys, I just started crying because I said, "My name is Annette." I said, "I'm an entrepreneur. I got laid off from the pandemic." And I said, "I was never going back to a job." And I said, "There's a lot of things that's going on right now financially that's not working out in my favor. But," I said, "you really just don't understand how much this means to me." And he was like, "You're an entrepreneur?" I'm an entrepreneur too. He's like, "I'm actually a multimillionaire." And I just could have passed out right there, y'all. That same day, I had posted a Vision Board magazine cover that says, "I will be a multimillionaire." Mind you, I'm still staying focused. Even in the back of my mind, I got all this financial stress. I got all this stuff going on, but I'm still staying I'm still staying focused to the vision, into the dream, and not letting these distractions get to me, right? So I show him the picture. I'm like, "I just posted this. What's the chance of me running into you?" Like, so he was like, "I want to tell you," he was like, "I made $40 million this year." And he said, I'm telling you this because I'm letting you know that it's possible." He was like, "I lost everything before." And I was like, "I lost everything too before." And he said that, he was like, "I could tell you know what it takes, right?" He was like, "It's something about you." He's like, "I don't know you." He was like, "Something about your spirit. I know you're going to be very successful." He was like, "But you have to keep going. You cannot give up." And I'm just crying. Like, I just couldn't believe it. And he says, "Well, I'm going to give you my phone number because I can give you a lot of help." And I was like, "Wow." I said, "Okay." So he's like, "What you going to do with your car?" I was like, "I don't know." I said, "I guess I'm going to have to get it towed, you guys." I tried my car one more time, and my car turned back on. My car turned back on, and we both looked at each other because he seen me trying to get my car to start. And he was like, "Wow." He was like, "God stopped your car for a reason." And you guys, I didn't even care how broke. That was the miracle that I just prayed out and asked for before I left my house that day, because I didn't even care how broke I was at that moment. God showed up and had to send me a miracle. Like, "I'm about to show you that I'm in control. I need you to not worry. I need you to not stress. I need you to just," it will make me emotional thinking about it today, because I'm like, whew. I went on. First of all, my car drove for a whole year after the fact. Like, nothing happens nothing happened to my car from that moment. You guys, I remember praying in my bathtub on New Year's, going into New Year's, asking God, like, this is it. Like, I done gave you everything. I'm trying not to cry because God it's like full circle moment, you guys. I'm giving everything I have. Like, I'm walking in purpose for my family, for myself, for the business owners that I'm going to help. And I went on to make my 6 figures in 90 days. And I was on the news, I was on the radio, hundreds of clients from all over the place was just supporting my business, you guys. I've been on stages, I've been everywhere, and I'm literally celebrating my $1 million marketing business. That's what is making me so emotional, because it was 3 years ago that I walked in faith for my business, and that God did this miracle for my life. Like, it's a true testimony. Like, I grew up in foster care. So the statistics of foster care children is that we're supposed to be homeless, on drugs, or in jail. And I'm literally just breaking the odds, and just truly a testimony of God's goodness and grace. And what he can do for you when you trust him, when you believe, and when you really have a servant's heart to serve, you guys. Like, I truly love what I do. For me, losing everything and me going through the financial hardships that I had to go through in my life, to really making sure that, number one, we don't go through that, and number one, making sure that business owners is equipped with everything they do to become successful, to make sure that they have all the necessary skills and tools and understand that Jesus is the one that's going to unlock their destiny. So that's my story.
So many things to unpack. And I'm glad I let you continue because there were multiple gems. Number one, perseverance was the overall theme, because you could have chosen to give up at any point and say, I'll just give up, or let that the person who wanted to be a doctor speak that negativity and projection into you. But you said, no, that will not be my story. So
Right.
you have to tune people out, because small minds can't see big visions, number one. Number
Yeah.
two, you said you had a strategy and you had to restructure some things. You have to shed old habits. Sometimes we are so stuck to our habits that it is hindering our next level of success. So you said, okay, this will again will not be my story. Let me figure out a new way to do things. So great testament of what is possible, from losing everything to six figures. It's possible.
Yes. It's truly possible. Like, you have to go through the process. And sometimes people want to skip steps. They want the instant gratification. They don't, when things do get tough, because you will be tested, and you're not always being tested by the enemy. Sometimes God is testing you too. That you have to stick to it. You can't give up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. And one thing that you also said was equipping yourself as a business owner. So, one of the most common things, and I'm sure you see it often, that most businesses, especially women entrepreneurs, that we overlook if we're not in the financial space, is that financial planning, that profit planning strategy. So, I want to ask, what are the common mistakes that you see most entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, make? And it's not necessarily that we are unintelligent, is that we sometimes just don't have the
Yeah.
access to that knowledge. So what are the common mistakes that you see that we make?
Yes, yes. And I love that you said that sometimes it's like, it's not intentional, right? You should want, as a business owner, you should want to go into business, or just in general, like, if you should just want to make just better financial decision habits for your life. So for a business owner, I feel like one of the biggest mistakes that they do is that it's a big myth and misconception that you need to have a lot of money to hire an accountant or someone like me, right? And that's such a big misconception, right? Like, you need me from the very beginning, right? You need to be organizing your income and expenses. So not commingling funds. So that's something else that business owners do. They like to mix their personal and their business funds together. And I think those two major steps, like making sure that you have good organization from a bookkeeping standpoint, and making sure that you have a relationship with someone like me, and making sure that you actually are filing your taxes every single year. I think those mistakes lead to business failure, get in trouble with the IRS, and just not being as profitable as you really could be. Because a lot of business owners, they go into business, right? When we go into business, we start off with prices that just don't make sense, right? Prices that we don't understand our own value. We just starting off, we scared to charge what we really supposed to charge. And that's what we have to go into business thinking differently. We have to go into business thinking from the lens of a company. Like, this company is going to, I'm going to build out this company to last for generations, right? I'm going to build this company to be profitable, right? And you have to go into it with a different lens. And sometimes you're not going to be able to understand that in the beginning, right? So one thing is, I really, really urge business owners is to make sure that you have a true relationship with someone like me. You need to have an accountant, CFO, bookkeeper, something from the very beginning of your business, because you will avoid so many issues, and you will probably scale your business and become more profitable quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really true. And I telling my own failures in that space. I definitely commingled funds in the beginning. And when you have that separate account from your personal and business, it is such a big relief because you don't have to say, okay, that went there, that went there. So it really is
Right.
important to have these strategies from the beginning and have that great foundation because, as you said, it really does set you up for success. And so this is the perfect segue to talk about more about what you do for your clients with the tax experience.
Yes. So one of the biggest things that I'm actually helping with right now is really CFO level services for my entrepreneurs that are really making a lot of money, right? You're making over six figures. So I have different packages. So I'll talk about one first and then I'll talk about my second one. So business owners who are like, hey, look, I am making a lot of money. I am busy, but I just don't have time to manage my my income and expenses. Like I just need to be the CEO. I need to continue to work on the sales. I need to just, do what's best for the health and the growth of my company. So business owners, now is the time to literally get you an accountant, get someone who's going to understand vision, who understands true wealth building, because those things are super, super crucial to your journey. And one thing that a lot of business owners come for me because I am a true strategist, right? So as you continue to grow in business and you continue to develop and become more profitable, you have to understand strategy and tax strategy at that, right? Because the more money you make, the more money Uncle Sam wants to take. And let me tell you, a lot of business owners, so it's a mindset shift, right? So because the IRS, the tax code was really made for entrepreneurs and business owners. And we pay taxes are our biggest expense. We pay taxes every single day. We pay taxes when we eat, when we pay taxes when we buy a house, we pay taxes when we buy clothes. We pay taxes all the time. That's literally our biggest expense. So why do people neglect it? Like, no, we need to be on top of this, right? And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tax deductions. So the way that the tax code is really made for business owners and investors, right? It's not really made for the working, like the 9-to-5 worker, right? It's just not made up. And right. And this is why we see ourselves struggling, right? As sometimes as 9-to-5 workers, we like, okay, how can we get out of this? I feel like I'm always paying the IRS. You have to get onto the other side of it, which is become an investor and a business owner, figuring out, okay, what can I do to actually help me make more money so that the IRS gives you the luxury of like, okay, being that you are making money for the economy, you're creating jobs, I'm going to give you all these deductions so you can save more money, right? Because I understand businesses take a lot of money, y'all. I know we spend a lot on our businesses, a lot of money. So we cannot be in a position to not take the full advantage of an entrepreneur as a true business owner. And then to the next level, it's like that wealth building strategy, right? Like, say, for example, every business owner should be thinking about an exit plan from the very beginning, right? We don't think about that. We don't think, oh, I ain't making millions yet, I don't need to be thinking about that. No, every single thing that you do from literally launch to that moment matters, right? That's where I get into true wealth building strategy, right? How do we actually create a business that's going to outlast us? Or how do we create a business that we want to sell for $100 million one day, right? What does that even look like? How do we even grow, scale, and then delegate, right? So now that's on my coaching side, which is my community. I think we're going to talk about it later. No Kingdom Millionaires Left Behind. So if you're like, hey, Annette, like, I understand you say I need an accountant and things of that nature, but maybe you show me what I need to do. So this is for my business owner that may be making under $100,000 or maybe just around that mark. I have a coaching program where I really just walk you through and hold you accountable for what you need to be doing to kind of set you up financially, right? Getting your bookkeeping in order, starting to have those types of conversations, looking at your numbers, making sure that you're profitable so that you can focus on that. So eventually you can get to a level where you're just outsourcing everything to me. But the main piece of the puzzle is like, you can't neglect the heart of your business. The heart of your business is your finances. In real life, if you neglect your heart, you know what happens. So you cannot do that. If you are serious about your business, if you are serious about wealth, and even I'm going to go spiritual on y'all, even in the Bible, it talks about, I just taught a class last night in a community, and it was talking about the biblical wealth principles, right? There's different principles that you just have to abide by, or you just gonna continue to get stuck, right? So making sure that you renew your mind to understand, like, okay, I have to do things differently, right? My old ways of spending, money and not managing it the right way and just putting it off or procrastinating, those days have to be, those days have to cease. Because if you are called to entrepreneurship, and you're supposed to create an impact and change lives, why would you hold yourself up from doing those things by not making sure that you're paying attention to your finances? So we do these things through so much tax preparation, bookkeeping, CFO, payroll, budgeting, literally the one-stop shop for all your needs. You literally, to build a legacy, you have to push your finances first.
That's very true. We're talking about generational wealth. We need to know the tips and strategies to get there. And you mentioned your community. So let's go ahead and share about why you started it and how can people join.
Yes, I love. So one thing about me is I love to speak because I feel like God gave me a powerful testimony. So I started doing a lot. I love to throw events. So I do a lot of events, or I love to just speak at events. And God was just really pulling on me this year. And he was like, sis, you're so much more than a tax accountant. So I'm gonna need you to step up to the plate. I'm gonna need you to really step into your full calling. I'm just like, God, don't you think I'm doing enough here? Like, you know what industry you put me in. And it was just a hunger and a desire to just seek God more and to really just help entrepreneurs, because I feel like that's a big piece that's missing in business is like God. Like, let me tell you, the world and life is hard out here. How can you not do it without Jesus? Okay. And I just know a lot of people, when they see me grow my business very quickly, by the grace of God, right? They kept asking me like, Annette, can you help me grow my business? Can you help me? So it was really like the coach in me was being pulled, and I was just like, no, I'm not ready yet. Right. And I was feeling like I had to make $1 million in order to start helping people. And God was like, girl, you made 6 figures in 90 days. Businesses are not like, first of all, I think it's like 82% of Black owned businesses never even make it over to $50,000 a year. So baby, I accelerated you for a reason, So I was just like, okay. And I felt like I could not be the coaches of the world. Like, I could not go out into this world and help people with their business without telling them the exact same way on how I did it, which was seeking Jesus. Because there's no way I could have had the strength to walk away from a job that I was making well over $20 an hour to saying that I'm not going back. I'm not going looking for a job. When people was in my ear doubting me, when people close to me just didn't believe in me, like there's no way that all the obstacles that I had to continue to keep overcoming, there's no way that I could not have done that with Jesus, without God. And then he showed up and did that miracle like that right there. Like, that was my first encounter with God, like God really showing up in my life and showing me that it's real. And when you know that you know that you know, nobody can tell you different, okay? And so God was telling me that you're going to help, and you have been assigned to push my people, my entrepreneurs, kingdom entrepreneurs, to millions, to wealth. Because if God, first of all, God is the one who gives us the authority to even create wealth, Deuteronomy 8:18, right? So if God is the one who's going to unlock all the keys, and I don't want entrepreneurs to think that it's just about money, because some entrepreneurs who just chase money, that's when you fall, right? So I wanted entrepreneurs to really understand that there's an assignment over your life, right? And if God has called you, that means he has called you to a next level of wealth and prosperity, right? Because it is assigned. It is assigned to people. It is assigned to organizations. It is assigned to schools. It is assigned to nations. It's assigned to push the kingdom forward. So that's the reason why I created No Kingdom Millionaires Left Behind, because it's truly a community to really push entrepreneurs and just back it up with the biblical pieces, and to just push entrepreneurs to understand that you have to seek him. And just not even just about entrepreneurship, just in life, like to just do life with Jesus, because you really need him, and understanding the power that you really have and understanding who your true identity is. So that's why I curated, because God has put me to make sure that, number one, we are worthy of wealth, right? And even me going into business, I understand that you need more than 6 figures. 6 figures is not nothing, y'all. When I made it in 90 days, like, I was grateful and thankful. Don't get me wrong, but it costs a lot to really run and operate a business. The investing that you have to do, it takes so much more than I think people realize. And I think as our community, we have to even just look. First of all, I hate poverty because it's nothing but devil, right? Like, no, that is not God has not put us on this earth to just work and pay bills and just struggle. And I think that we have to look at it differently, right? And it takes a lot of just the healing and things that need to go on to understand that you are worthy and to understand that you are the value. We think that things make us valuable. No, we are the wealth. We are the true value. And when we understand that, then everything changes in our lives. So yes, I created that community to really just help. So it's my coaching program to really help entrepreneurs get to that next level in business. So yeah, I love it, like, because it's truly life changing, and I think I couldn't do it any other way.
Yeah, and your passion comes across. So tell us, how can they join your community? And for those who want to continue to follow your journey, how can they keep up with you?
Yes. So you can join the No Kingdom Millionaires Left Behind. You can always go visit my website, which is AnnetteCampbell.com, and you can join the community there. And you can also, if you are interested in coaching, you're like, hey, Annette, like, I love everything that you said. Like, I'm just ready. You can definitely just go and apply online to be coached by me. And you can stay in touch with me on Instagram, which is my Instagram handle is _success with Annette. And if you need tax services and accounting services, you're like, hey, Annette, like, because we are in Q4 right now, it's tax planning season. You guys, a lot of us, we ignore taxes until January, February. And you guys, right now, you should be having conversations, and you should be planning, right? You should be trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to actually, first of all, 3 things. Number 1, start to organize your income and expenses, figure out what you're projected to make at the end of the year, and then figuring out, okay, what can I be doing to lower that taxable income? Because Black Friday is coming up, y'all. And I tell business owners, like, hey, get some stuff for Black Friday. Maybe that culture you want to invest in, maybe that branding, that marketing. You should be maxing out your retirement account, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we are responsible for our own retirement. There's so many different things that you could be doing to fully take advantage of a business owner. So if you need tax and accounting help, definitely visit us at thetaxexperience.com.
Great segment. And if this didn't empower, inspire, motivate, and drop gems, I don't know what will for them. So I want to thank you so much for your time. Is there any final thing that you want to share with our audience?
I want the audience to know that your dreams are truly possible. Like, you guys heard my testimony of what God did in my life. And I just encourage you to just really understand you are worthy, and that you are called for so much more, and to just truly never settle, and to truly believe that your dreams are truly possible.
A great way to end the segment. Thank you so much, Annette, for joining us today. I have really, even though I've heard it before, just hearing it again, it even motivated me, because we all go through something at some point. And so to see what is possible, it's important to show the good and the bad, because we tend to glamorize entrepreneurship. It's not always easy. It's not always tiptoeing through the daisies and tulips. So I'm thankful that you have shared with us the vulnerability, the not so glamorous parts of your life. So thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. This has been another segment of Lady Mogul Talk, and we'll see you in the next segment. Bye.